Story 1. Last night I finally managed to convince my fiancé to smoke weed with me. She's always been anti-420, but now that we're just a few weeks away from getting married and being all grown up and shit, she's gone full YOLO. Fast forward to me seeing my fiancé high for the first time. She became extremely relaxed and talkative. It was cute at first, listening to her go on and on about life and love. But then shit kind of got specific. She mentioned how she never expected to be with someone like me. I didn't even have to encourage her to explain because the floodgates were already wide open. All those details spilled out without any fucking filter. This is what I learned from my fiancé that I never knew before. 1. Most of her past relationships ended because she was notoriously promiscuous. 2. As per number 1, one of those relationships came to an end after she cheated on her boyfriend by hooking up with his younger brother while also cheating on the damn brother with his best friend, who just so happened to be the same sex. 3. I'm the first guy she's had to do the fake orgasm thing with. Apparently all her exes pushed all the right buttons whereas I don't. 4. My asthma is a turn-off when it comes to sex because she feels like she needs to hold back so that I don't get too excited and die. 5. All her exes had horse dicks, of course they did. I'm her first average. Those were some of the key points. I was too traumatized to register whatever else she said afterwards. I don't think I blinked for the rest of the evening. A fucking Chad. I'm emotionally destroyed. It doesn't feel real yet, so I have trouble accepting it's over. But it is. Guess I'm returning that ring and getting a PS5. Appreciate all the advice. Story 2. It's been more than a month since I broke up with my ex-fiancé, and you know what? Life turned out better than expected. Now I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I had my dance with depression, still do from time to time, but for the most part I've managed to pull my shit together and focus on simply being a healthier human. Then last night happened. It was my birthday. My sister came over. She knew I wasn't planning on going out and partying, but loyal to her reputation as the wild one in the family, she brought the party to me. After more than a few drinks, the two of us were drunkenly debating what I should have said to my ex-fiancé the night she practically slingshot my manhood into outer space by praising her exes for being sexually superior in all the ways that I wasn't. I got so fired up I decided to take it a step further and actually call my ex-fiancé on the phone. My sister egged me on. I didn't even know what I was gonna say, but I was drunk and determined enough not to hang up. The moment my ex answered I started rapping. It went a little something like this. You were my pick. Long pause. Through thin and through thick. An even longer pause. But you saw my dick and it made you sick. You said it wasn't true love, it was just a lie, and all I had to do was get yo ass high. There was an awkward silence before my ex said she was never really high that night. According to her, she just seized an opportunity to be as open and honest as possible without being a complete bitch. Then she added, but if she would have been a complete bitch she could have included the following. 1. My about to come face made me look like I'm about to vomit, which is why she started timing my orgasms so she knew when to squeeze her eyes shut. 2. My beard always smelled like peanut butter, that's all she said, but I'm gonna assume this was also bad. 3. She stopped going to clubs with me, not because she grew out of it, but because I was too socially awkward around her friends, and whenever I danced it was like watching a dog derping. I heard enough and hung up. Now I'm traumatized all over again. Story 3. I love hot sauce. My favorite is Tabasco, but I just fucking love all hot sauce. For years I've carried a mini bottle of Tabasco in my purse and some emergency mini packets in my wallet. I don't pull it out at restaurants because it's in poor taste in my culture, and most restaurants don't allow it. It's mostly for take out eaten on the go or for when I go to spice-intolerant close friends' houses. I'm also weird in that I don't put it all over my food or mix it in. I'll put a few drops or a squirt on individual bites of food because I like to alternate between spicy and regular bites. When I'm out at restaurants I tend to hog the bottle of hot sauce, so I normally ask for 2 bottles so that other people that enjoy hot sauce aren't inconvenienced. With that background info out of the way, here's what happened. COVID restrictions have loosened, so my husband and some friends of ours went out to a restaurant with outdoor dining to get some drinks and dinner. One of our friends brought her new boyfriend, Jim, that none of us have met before, and honestly, he seemed off from the start. He openly ogled myself and other women in our group. He made a joke about how people with Down syndrome are a drain to society after a friend updated us on how her daughter with Down syndrome was doing, and he consistently talked down to my friend. When our food arrived, I asked for a second bottle of hot sauce and began to do my thing with it. When he saw what I was doing, Jim gave me the dirtiest look, then asked why I was using hot sauce like an idiot. I briefly explained to him why, and he then turned to my friend and his GF and told her, you didn't tell me your opus was a fucking retard. I'm not gonna lie, I saw red. I told him off about everything wrong he'd done throughout our get-together and that anywhere he was I would no longer be because he was so disgusting and disrespectful. I then flagged down our waiter, got a to-go box for my hardly touched meal, paid my husband and I's tab, then walked out. I just couldn't be around someone like him. Later I got a text from my friend telling me I humiliated her, and that all of our friends followed suit and left because they couldn't stand him either, as well as told her that they refused to be around him. She told me I alienated her and made everyone hate her. I feel like a total dick now because I didn't mean to hurt her. I just wanted to get away from her awful BF before I caused an even bigger scene. She now is begging everyone to give him a second chance and none of us will, and she's been cursing us out and calling all of us heartless assholes. So, AITA for this. Story 4. So it's a Friday night. My RM friend and I are having a great time. We are smoking, drinking and listening to music. I'm in the middle of hitting the bong and we hear this loud bang, 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 knock at the door and we are not expecting anyone, so I immediately think cops. My RM looks at me and just says, nope. We literally get on our hands and knees and start crawling from the living room to the bedroom. We hear another loud knock. F goes into the bathroom and hides. We're panicking. Oh shit, what happened? The neighbors called from the smell. Why are the cops here? Do we just answer? Do we have to? All these whispered questions go on until we realize it's been long enough without another knock. Are we in the clear? I send my RM to crawl back out and check. I'm too scared. She goes, sneaking back out to peek out the front window. She yells out, it's clear I think, and then grabs her phone. The phone reads, 3 missed calls, Pizza Hut. F emerges from the bathroom and we all cry laughing when she just slowly turns the phone for us to see. Our mutual fuck up. We all apparently forgot we ordered pizza. There was in fact no cops and probably one annoyed delivery driver. We called and explained what happened. They sent us a new pizza and some cookies. Story 5. I have a regular account, but this is a throwaway for this situation specifically. I've been with her for the past 4 years-ish, and we're currently engaged and planning our wedding for hopefully early next year, since we figured most of 2021 would be used to really get past the latter stages of the pandemic. We rarely ever fight, but she insists I broke her trust over what happened a few days ago. My girlfriend works full-time as a receptionist, but she also does yoga very seriously on the side. She has a separate Instagram account just for yoga, and she also has a few clients she teaches in a gym as well. I used to do gymnastics growing up before switching to aerial circus that a nearby circus studio offered for a few years, and it was there that I mostly focused on training aerial straps in my early years of high school before stopping due to some repeated injuries, but I still try to keep some of the conditioning I learned there and still apply it when I'm training today at the gym or whatever. But my problem started when she asked me to help her film something. She has a YouTube channel that she's trying to constantly grow, and she asked me to help with a splits tutorial where she would do advanced versions of stretches while I did more basic and inflexible versions of them. But when she had me try a few of the stretches she had in mind, she was surprised with how easy some of them were for me. And when she sarcastically asked me if I could do the splits, I showed her that I could. And for some reason, she got really offended. I wasn't showing off or anything. I just did the poses she asked. I've helped her with other videos before, but when she asked how I learned it, I told her that I did gymnastics and aerial straps right before beginning high school and tried to keep some of the conditioning exercises that I learned as part of my usual gym training routine. But she got offended that I never told her about it. But I did tell her about it many years ago, but she didn't seem to remember, and that's fine. I don't think it's that important. And I told her that the last time I did aerial straps or gymnastics was like 9th grade, maybe 10th, but she spun it into what else are you hiding and called me a liar, and asked why don't I make an Instagram just like her and stuff like that, and I honestly didn't know why she was getting so worked up. I told her that I was sorry despite not thinking I had anything to be sorry for, but her mood was ruined and she just gave up on the video idea and said that she changed her mind and acted distant for the rest of the day. Then, when I get home and I try to text her again that I'm sorry, she doesn't respond, and she's not responded to anything that I texted her for 4 straight days when we almost always talk. Then finally, about a week later, she told me that she wanted to take a break from our relationship and a bunch of other things about how she couldn't trust me, and while I think that she's overreacting, I couldn't bring myself to say that and told her that I'd respect her request and that I was sorry for offending her again. But it's almost been 3 weeks, and she hasn't contacted me, and one of the friends we both have from our friend group contacted me and said that she's been talking shit about me to some of the other girls. And when I decided to open up and tell him how I thought she was being ridiculous, he said that she cares way too much about her Instagram and other things about how he thought she was arrogant, and I'm kinda upset at myself for not telling her how ridiculous she was sounding. and just sucking up, but I'm getting a little worried, and we still have engagement plans, but I'm also reconsidering how easily she gets offended over something as small as this, and before I break her NC and try to consider calling her back, I've really been thinking about this and just need to hear some other opinions, and I also want to ask how I should reach out after her request to have some space to see where we stand with engagement and our future in general, or if I should even reach out at this point at all or just wait for her. Story 6. It's been about a week, and she's kinda made the decision to break up on her own, actually, and here's what I mean. She actually went through and made her splits video on her own, and she actually threw a joke in there about how girls watching should ask their boyfriend if they can do the splits too and are shy about their talent. And honestly, I found it kind of funny at this point just to see how petty and upset she was over this. Some of the girls in my friend group who kinda took my side said that my fiancé doesn't seem to understand what yoga means, and they happen to do yoga as well. They said that she's stupid because she's certified and doesn't understand that yoga isn't a competition, but rather a personal journey to quote them specifically. But she seems to care more about showing off impressive poses on Instagram, more than actually promoting what yoga is about, and how she's basically body shaming me, as they put it, is the opposite of what yoga stands for, in their opinion. They also had an issue with the joke that she made during the video, and specifically with how she told the girls that were watching to ask their boyfriends if they could do the splits in an attempt to see if they were hiding it from her, and they said that came off as wrong and somewhat sexist and immature. And they also showed me some of the texts that she sent them, stuff about how she said that I'm hiding things from her, and why was there a need to hide something as simple as that in regards to my gymnastics background. And personally, I think it's really dumb. Like, this is high school behavior, and maybe not even that, because when I was in high school, some people were petty, but this is just a lot. When I texted her in regards to the wedding and asking where we stand, she didn't respond, and when I texted her again another day, she didn't respond again. When I tried calling her twice on the same days, she didn't respond either, and I'm trying with the help of my parents to cancel the wedding on our side. But she and her parents are not responding, and with the payments they have down, we're nervous about getting looped into something that they could hold against us, and at this point, I could care less about the ring. I asked my dad if we should go over, but he said it was a bad idea given their behavior. But we've talked to the planner, who's had little communication with her family too, and that's pretty much where we are at this point. I called her a few times, and my dad called her parents, but they aren't responding on numerous days, and I want to ask how to get out of the wedding at this point the most safe way as possible, with no strings that they could hold on us, or if it's possible to cancel it without having to see any of them again. My dad is also inquiring how to do this on his own, but I want to ask here too, and I could care less about the ring at this point. I also want to say thanks for all the advice given out the first time, and for anyone else who decides to comment on this one. Story 7. Obligatory. This happened about 5 hours ago, but I seen the email 30 minutes ago while taking a shit and finally piecing the puzzle together. We have been waiting for our debit cards for 2 weeks. We started a new bank account and had all of our money go into it, besides a little bit we get put on a prepay card. Turns out this online bank does not send out your debit card until you make a deposit. Hit a week ago. I am sure it said that somewhere, so that is on us. Anyway, we have been spreading the money we had super thin, and we finally reached a point that we are going to try to Venmo or PayPal again. We tried them early in the week and it would not connect to the other card for some reason. My wife get everything set up while I am playing PS4, hits transfer and sends a test $50. It worked. So this is where I come in. I said you should have sent more. So I take the phone from her and send $225 on Venmo and jokingly write sex in the message. Error, cannot process this transaction. Next I get a email saying my account has violated terms of service and it is frozen.